So you've been playing Civilization 6?
Yes, that is gonna be our excuse for not putting out an episode for the past year.
Okay.
To
cool.
our viewership worldwide, we are back.
Too much Civ 6, but
Too much Civ 6, man. Like honestly, I never like I don't game much, but I put in like just on this PS5 version of it, the version of this
the version.
Yeah, the version of this I put out 125 hours so far.
Damn.
In a week or 2 weeks, whatever the
that's
hell,
crazy.
whatever the hell, however long I've had it. Honestly, I've lost my grasp on time because I'll be like playing this till like 6 a.m. sometimes.
Do you know what like the time scale is? Like how many minutes is like how many years on there?
I have no idea. I know every turn is like 5 years, and
Okay.
you start in 4000 BC. So I've played this on PC before, and that was fun.
Yeah.
I got the whole like anthology pack.
Yeah.
I'm having trouble talking.
You're good.
But this one, I didn't know they had all the DLCs until like last week.
This is all the DLCs?
Yeah, I got all of them, and they were on like PSN like for like $5 or something. So
No
I got
way.
all of them.
Nice.
And the game is like $7 too.
Really?
Yeah, so it's on sale. So I bought it,
Okay.
and bro, it's so realistic. The AI, everything. I don't know who made this, but like, I started playing as Japan, and at the original point.
Okay.
And from just settling that city, like I settled in Kyoto, and then I'm like, settling the land, trying to find a way off the island, find resources on the small, like no landmass whatsoever.
Right.
And naturally, like, I found myself wanting to invade China.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you
taking
were
over,
Japan.
taking over trade routes, taking
Yeah.
over the Pacific,
Yeah.
like. And then, like, obviously, I have like a limit on my own population because there's only so much resources
It's
and
an
housing
island.
and
Yeah.
all that. So
Nice.
I'm sending people out constantly at times, or, I am like not forcing, but I'm dictating to my newer cities, hey, I need you to produce more
Yeah.
and worry about eating less, which annoyed me. So. Yeah, I quickly understood the logic behind some of their expansionism, especially because like in the game I was annoyed as hell. I'm like, wait a minute, like everyone else is like excelling in everything, and I'm still struggling to build a neighborhood, and because I don't have lumber,
You just don't have the resources.
Yeah, it was just annoying, bro.
Yeah.
So I understand the frustration, Japan. Yeah, you and everyone else. Yeah. What about you though? How's it been up since? Because last year now, man, it's been a minute.
It's
dude.
been a long time.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. I've just been busy. Schoolwork, the grind.
Our one listener in South Africa, I hope we still have you.
Yeah, he's been waiting. He's been waiting this whole year. He has notifications all the way on, like.
Yeah.
He has his notifications on.
Well, good thing, man. It's a lucky day. There's a lot to talk about.
It's a lot to talk about.
A lot of nothing, bro. I feel like so much is on the news cycle, but nothing actually is going on.
What do you mean?
Like right now there's a serious issue, Israel-Palestine, back on the news, right? But the news cycle is so quick, everything is so fast that it's a serious problem, serious issue. People should be talking about it. They're only going to talk about it while it's on the news cycle. And then 2-3 days, a week goes by, the protests kind of die out. It goes business back to normal.
Yeah.
And, I think that that played out in front of us with the Ukraine-Russia thing.
Mm-hmm.
That was a hot topic until it was like, okay, there's nothing happening anymore.
Yeah.
And reality is a lot is happening, I'm sure.
Right.
But,
Right.
people's attention spans with social media and stuff. And then also just like the news cycle being 24 hours nonstop. Non-stop BS too. That's the problem.
Yeah. And people get bored because like you said, social media, and especially with TikTok, like our dopamine system is like completely rewired from what it's supposed to be. And so if you don't get like fast facts, you're gonna you're gonna exit out the video, you're gonna go watch something else because it's boring. You're not getting that dopamine hit. And
sitting idly or sitting just like alone, not doing anything, not scrolling, that's been, I don't know when I think that wiring happened sometime in our own lifetimes, right? Mine and yours, not our parents so much so.
Yeah.
But like just like constantly wanting to do something,
yeah,
but also not having the energy to do anything worthwhile. So then we're scrolling, or there's
right.
like this new video. It's like Like I was thinking about it too. I was gonna post online on my Instagram. It's been a minute, and I was like, yeah, okay, what should I post? I took a bunch of trips somewhere, and I'm like, in reality, I'm in my shorts in my room, and I have no intention of going anywhere anytime soon, because, bro, I'm tired, man. It's been a long time. There was a reason we weren't recording, and I'm sure like everywhere people feel the same way. Like, they're just like, work and no progress. Like, it feels like everything got more expensive. Again, not to harp on that. We talked about that before, even last year, but our last episode.
Since then.
Yeah, it's more expensive now. Student loans are starting this month, I think. And yeah, overall, I'm just like, going through it, man.
What do people have to look forward to right now? I mean,
the election next year, that's what's going to be on everyone's mind now, going into primary season, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there is no Democratic primary, and on the Republican side, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it seems like the DeSantis hype has
any
kind of
contenders that stand out?
I think Ron DeSantis was one, but his whole persona, his whole thing, he kind of I don't know what happened to him. He kind of Jeb Bushed himself. It's like a Florida thing, I think. he did that. I feel like he did that. I feel like he's lost his people. He was gonna be the anti-Trump guy, but that's just not gonna work.
What about Vivek?
Bro, I just can't see them doing that with that.
What about as a VP?
Still no.
Nah.
There's just nothing there. I mean, if you want a VP and you're really trying to get a minority, bro, they'd get someone Cuban, right? Someone someone like Lil Marco would be good too.
Lil Marco.
Anyone, these guys are all recycled reruns anyways, right? And it's if you Biden did this with Kamala, getting the black vote, the young vote, the college, the HBCU, all that, the connections are all there, overlap. She's California DA,
right,
it's the biggest state. So he's he thought that through, and same with Obama, with Biden himself, etc. Bush with Cheney. So I mean, if Trump decides to make that type of calculation, which I don't know. I mean, I guess he did that to a certain extent with Pence. With the evangelicals,
the evangelical vote. Yeah.
I could see him I don't know. I mean, I mean, yeah.
Well, you can see him winning.
I could see him winning.
Yeah.
I mean, the way things are going, student loans. The moment I pay my first payment for student loans, that's the last hope anyone has of convincing me to vote for Joe Biden. I don't even care. It's his hands are tied and what. You know what? So sad. Your hands are tied. You have to go back home. Yeah. Goodbye.
You're the president. That's what you signed up for.
Yeah. My hands are tied, bro. I work 9 to 5. Your hands are not tied, you idiot. It's very. You're
not there for sympathy. You're there to do difficult things.
Yeah. It's I mean, if you can't do your job, then you have to go home. That applies to every job in this country.
That's supposed to be the point of elections.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, for me, I know for most voters, foreign policy is not at the top of the list. I do not consider myself a voter because I don't vote for. I've never voted for either party in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Bernie never made it to the ballot.
Not even in primaries?
No.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, I voted for the Green Party guy, even though he's kind of an idiot. What's his name? Howie Hawkins?
Yeah.
Yeah, that dude, I don't know. Nothing impressive about him. I really wanted to vote for Kanye last election. If he had any chance of winning, I might have. But, yeah.
Could have ridden him in. Or you could ride him in.
I mean, people were like, "Oh, he's a womanizer," or "Oh, he's I don't know, he's harassing
so is
women."
Biden, and so is Trump, and that's the playing field you're playing on.
Yeah.
Get out the whole thing if you don't like that.
And honestly, that is the reason, bro. You sit down with anyone and you say, I mean, not to say you are transgressing on anyone or trying to incite confrontational conversations, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's if you sit down and you're I'm considering voting for for Kanye for president. More likely than not, I mean, anyone who's involved this much won't do it. Really, if anyone's involved this much where they're able to have a succinct conversation about this, they won't go and vote for Kanye.
Yeah.
I mean, Trump is a different thing altogether. But Yeah, they won't vote for Kanye. It's more like, hey, you think this guy is crazy, right? What about the other two guys who are leading the race?
Right.
They're also
one is
womanizer.
crazy, one is senile.
They also have the mean tweets and everything. So what is what's the difference?
Mean tweet. Well, the difference is that they've like bombed people.
Yeah.
And like annihilated countries.
Yeah.
Kanye has not done that. He's done crazy stuff, but
Yeah. Well, he said the mean thing about like
Taylor
he said something.
Swift.
He said something anti-Semitic.
On
this Alex Jones podcast, and then he said he watched Jonah Hill's movie and he doesn't feel that way. He's kind of gone crazy too. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, he has his issues.
Ye is Ye, man. Where he's for the music, bro. Like, I mean, if you're trying to make him a new age Malcolm X or like MLK, well, guess what? You're barking up the wrong tree. Like, yeah, you should let people do their job, which is, hey, Joe Biden, I'm holding you to a higher standard than Kanye.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know. I mean, going forward, I don't know what to like look forward to as far as like en masse. Like, hey, there's something on the horizon that'll change something up. And I know that sounds kind of weird, like Messiah complex, type, like Messiah. What like, you need a Messiah figure to like function as society, but there is an appeal to a leader. Someone like Obama again, someone just who's able to complete his own sentences. After Bush, people just flocked to him.
Yeah.
People were just like, oh, this guy's such a great speaker. When honestly, I'm going to be real honest, I never understood the appeal for Obama speaking either. Like, yeah, I know he was able to talk.
He's more composed than Trump. I mean, Bush. Bush couldn't give a good speech, an inspiring speech for shit.
Yeah.
So Obama, the contrast was there on the surface. Yeah. And so, like you said, I mean, people are going to run to that.
Like Reagan was actually. I mean, again, he's an actor, so he had charisma. Like you hear him speak even in his old age. I've seen his speech in his mid 80s, not his mid 80s, in the mid 80s. I'm not sure what age he is at that time, but he was the oldest president I think running. Ever. In the 1984 election, and he won 49 states, and. I remember his speech he gave during that time. I forgot exactly what it was, but you're like, wait, this is the oldest man running, and he has just this flair to him. And this is someone who just does not. I have a distaste for Reagan,
of course,
but you gotta call it like it is. This guy could hold a room without any like teleprompter, like without any, able to speak off the cuff even. And I think Clinton had that also, just Trump that natural. That. Yeah, just natural way, just like able to converse. Like when you walk, and it's not only on a speech, you see it in every way. Walking down the stairs, playing.
Yeah, just in general, that's who they are.
Yeah, like just being composed. I remember I forgot who it is. It's one of these slurpers. They have the Clintons have a bunch of slurpers all over the media sphere, and I forgot who it is, man. It's like this one dude, and he goes like Clinton, when he walked into a room. Republican, Democrat, it doesn't matter. Again, not a Clinton fan, or farthest thing from actually, thank God. But he knew like, hey, I'm shaking this guy's hand. Hey, how's your mom? How's your sister? How is like Billy
savvy.
Bob?
He was savvy.
Yeah, he knew how to like converse, just have that conversation. Now he did have an advantage that Obama didn't, that he's white.
Yeah.
But
they both knew how to navigate like those.
I didn't feel like Obama had that. And again, that's because he had a disadvantage of his skin color. But I didn't think Obama could really just like be with the in crowd, even though I mean.
Wait, how? He puts out a Spotify playlist every year with his, and he's with the in crowd on his Spotify playlist.
I mean, honestly, the only way I can answer that is like quoting like Biden when he's running. He's like, yeah, Obama was not able to work with these guys. Pushing legislation or whatever.
You're talking about politically in the
in-crowd.
Gotcha,
he's like, I can. Yeah, in-crowd with the Spotify fools. So is Joe
Rogan.
I
thought you meant in-crowd as in like a cool guy or whatever.
No, I meant like actually being able to work across the aisle.
That was the idea with getting Biden as VP though. That he is somebody who can work across the aisle and do all of that.
Yeah, I mean, I was about to say he was able to work with the other side, but then again, Clinton, for all like the the stories and all that, like. They also had to shut down the Newt Gingrich stuff happened in the 90s. His own like the well, what's that chick's name?
Monica Lewinsky.
That stuff
that
happened.
little scandal.
So, and that's just probably the more docile of it. There've been
Yeah.
so many people dying around the Clintons. I mean, I'm just saying, man. If you were a better, like, if you had to go to Louisiana to bet, like, I'm just telling you, you know, like, if 10 people died, I'd be willing to bet $5 that one of them they killed. Maybe not all 10, but one of them at least.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I mean, I feel like that's partially why, like, when you were able to, like, you know, even when this Israel-Palestine has been going on, and you try to converse with someone, there's just like this, like, there's a hyper politicization and a political nihilism.
Yeah.
Right. Simultaneously, and I don't know if that, like, how contradictory that is, but
What's the hyper politicization?
it's like,
Where is it?
I mean, I'm not talking about, like, you know, maybe like, I'm not talking about, you know, the population in mass right now, I guess.
Okay.
More so like amongst our demographics.
Yeah.
There's like a political nihilism of, like, a lack of direction of, like, okay, there's no ideology involved. There is no like backdrop of anything. There's no philosophical backdrop to anything happening except for the event itself.
It's bullet point views.
Yeah, and that's why you fall out of love with it so fast, right? Because it's all, hey, well, Ukraine, 7 people died there, and then, like, you know, 6 people died in Taiwan, so now we gotta switch to the Taiwan T-shirt.
Yeah.
And now we gotta wear the Palestine or Israel shirt, and the hyper politicization is, man, like, I've never seen such a naked show of favoritism towards a geopolitical event. It started with Ukraine, Russia last year. You can see it in the corporate world, you know, shutting down offices in Russia, sanctions, Swift pay, like the Swift bank issue that they opened up for themselves. Honestly, the Pandora's box of, like, de-dollarization started with that. And now with the, you know, same thing with this Israel-Palestine thing. Yes, we always knew there was partiality in the public sphere, in this country at least, with Israel-Palestine. It was just never this. Maybe we weren't of the age. Maybe we didn't know better. But you would think, okay, maybe it's like, hey, they're ignoring the issue, or hey, something sad happened. It's never been this naked where, like, oh, well, this attack in Israel happened, and Israeli people, we stand with them against, like, you know, violent that civilian attacks. And it's like, I don't know. It feels
It's
like,
very blatant.
It feels like
It's
a very
blatant.
It's like, hey, you're either, like, you know, in or out. That's it.
Yeah.
You're in. We don't even want to pretend that this is some kind of, like,
nuanced issue.
Yeah, we're on the wrong side of a debate. We're telling you this is a side of, like, you know, this is where we are.
This is the stance, and that's
and
it.
You're either in or you're out. And if
Yeah.
you're out, bro, you're out good, because we are gonna run this. Like, we're gonna like run this down, like, everyone's, like, you know, everyone's Twitter feeds, everyone's, like, the corporate, you know, your corporate world's all on one side of this. The media sphere itself, I mean, honestly, like, a lot of people in our own community are like, hey, why are you yelling on the side of the street about this, and why don't you do something more productive about this? Why are you protesting? Bro, there ain't no CNN truck outside of here. No one's here to interview us. As in, like, not me and you, but even like the leaders of the community, for people like with any Palestinian organization, maybe nothing more than a local paper will come to cover that. If that.
That's something you have to build to.
Man, yeah, and it takes decades.
It takes decades, and it takes people.
Yeah, it takes people.
But the catch-22 is that when the people have this political nihilism, you're fighting an uphill battle, because how do you loop people into a movement that you have to convince them to care about? That's where it gets weird.
Yeah, and I mean, especially if you keep falling in and out of love with it.
Yeah,
like, I mean, convincing.
Again, is it the thing that's going to give you the dopamine hit in the moment?
Yeah. I mean, thing is, you know, again, it's just something that's always, like, you know, in my mind. If you're on the other side of it, that's one thing. If you've come here and now you're trying to leave, well, that's a different conversation. And you
falling out of interest with it.
And you're like, oh, well, we're with the movement, we're with the people. Okay, then you're on our side now. Okay, I'm not treating you like an enemy, I'm treating you like a comrade. And now when I see you deserting, bro, now you deserve the bullet in the back that you wouldn't put against your enemy, right? You wouldn't shoot someone in the back. But a deserter, this is a different conversation, different rules. And this is all figurative. I don't want to get dramatic. I'm not trying to shoot nobody ever.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, I don't like to leave my house. Nothing, bro. But like figuratively speaking, if I see that you in your own capacity, in the safety of your own home, can't see, or forget you can see it. I know it's so naked you can see it, and you've seen it already, but you're just not able to express it the way. I don't know.
Well, no, I feel like it's that people aren't able to relate. It's not even that they lack the capacity to relate to it. It's that they're just in such a different headspace that's a lot more concerned with what's immediately around them and what's in their personal future. It's very atomized. People kind of looking out for themselves. Clean up your own house before you can, fix the world or whatever. You hear that rhetoric.
Yeah. I mean, or also just like, what is this going to do? Just do whatever you can in your own life and just forget about it. Like, this is literally a point of view.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, none of what you're doing right now, what you mentioned about building up to something. And if people who are part of the group that is leading this keep on falling out of it just by, hey, we don't see the success, we don't see the vision anymore. If that's how flimsy your commitment is, well, that is part of the reason we're not progressing.
And that also speaks to a historical amnesia, right? Of people not realizing that, like, these movements in the past, when you hear about these different movements and these different victories that were achieved, apartheid getting dismantled in South Africa, for example, that's not something where you go to one protest or two or three every year and then, because we protested in this city, now apartheid's dismantled. Like, that's not how it works.
Shout out Toronto.
Right? That's not how it works. But it's people expecting that because again, you'll get bored if you don't get that. You need it. You need that hit. You need that hit.
Not only the dopamine, man. Also, there's that I don't know if it's validation, but it's just like gratification. That's instant gratification. We need that. There you go. It's like a couple of weeks, months go by, and you're like, wait a minute.
I'm not getting what I want out of this, which is like something that I'm expecting out of it. So screw it.
I mean,
which isn't an ideological commitment to the cause. It's a commitment based on, hey, this is the exciting thing for me right now. I'm interested in this. It's exciting.
Yeah. Or is my people dying somewhere? I don't want them to die. As long as they live in shit conditions, it's fine.
Yeah, but it'll fizzle.
Not to downplay the people who are committed to the cause, and it's not like you can't.
There's not enough of those people. That's the thing.
Yeah. I mean, again, commitment is not like I understand
There's levels of commitment. Yeah. Something. There's a lot of people who could put in something and just don't. Yeah. And at a certain point, you have to wonder how much of it is just willful, deliberate, like, there's this nihilistic backdrop of like everything is dreary, like we can only take care of ourselves. But like, how much of it is at a certain point where it's like, this is such a complicated issue, there's so much to it. You know what? I'm going to take the lazy answer and say like, it's out of my control. And at that point, you're deliberately just being like, I don't want to care anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that's part.
At a certain point, like, you got to wonder if it's deliberate for some of these people.
I mean, I think that question can only be answered after, like, if there is some, like, I don't know, maybe after we die, so that will be the question to be answered. Like, was it stupidity or was it actual, like, just belligerence?
Yeah.
Just like, hey, our own interest is okay, like, involved. We're taken care of. We're good.
Yeah.
So, it's okay. Let's just keep this running the way it is. And whoever didn't make it out of the situation, too bad, so sad. Maybe in the next life. Or is it stupidity? You don't realize that, hey, like, we are in such a privileged situation that we're able to like just do this without having to like with the comfort of like. Of legality, honestly, because any other country, no one cares, bro. They'll break your bones. Like, if there's like, on a wrong day, like something wrong happens. Like today, we were at the protest and someone let off a firework. Like two people, as far as I remember.
Was it two?
It was 2 people with 1 firework, and I think
yeah.
there was another dude, you know, a little further away who let something off in the air too.
Okay.
And I mean, the noise, it echoes in downtown. Everyone heard it. There's probably I don't know how. I'm not good at counting people, obviously, but it's like it looked like it was probably easy 2, 3 grand, 4 grand, 4,000 people.
Yeah.
And there's babies there, kids there, stuff like that. Now
they lit it off on the grass too.
Yeah,
it was on the grass.
Yeah,
it's kind of dangerous.
I mean, yeah, I didn't even think about that, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Shit. I think that's the actual issue with it. Is that you know, if there was a fire, then that's.
Well, I mean, you could cause a stampede. You could cause people to run over.
Right,
His kids
exactly,
there.
exactly.
I mean, I completely. I mean, just as you pointing out that it was on grass made me forget completely where I was going with this. I just forgot. I'm like, wait a minute. This guy could have started a fire right there.
That's crazy.
I mean, not a guy. Honestly, I think he started running, and he looked probably like about 16.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he did not look that old. He was him and the other kid too. The other kid looked like under 18 too. But yeah, why were we talking about this? I have no idea.
We went to the protest earlier today. It was the guy who lit off a firework.
I don't know. It was a fun time. How about that?
Yeah, sure.
I mean,
no, it's good to see so many people out there.
The nihilism associated with protests. You can express that nihilism without. I mean, you can express that nihilism while going, improve something while being a part of it. But taking yourself away from it and being like, well, no, I'm not part of this because it's not good enough.
But improving it requires you to not be lazy about it. And it's not even about laziness. They won't be lazy to other things, but it requires you to care more than you might find comfortable.
Yeah, you have to care about it when you don't want to care about it. That's the whole. I mean, again,
it's a commitment.
Yeah,
it's a commitment.
If you're willing to, like, I mean, if it's something that disposable, then you have to, like, then just reassess. Maybe you care about something else, you know, and you don't need to have an opinion on every single thing. But I found over the past week, I found people that I knew discouraging other folks from attending this stuff. Hey, this has no meaning. This won't get you anywhere. This won't do anything for you. And it's like, again, I understand it's fruity to say, can anything be unconditional? Like, I'm not saying like, like love or unconditional, like, trust or something. But like, we're literally talking about people getting bombed or like people who are out on the streets and they're not asking you for no money. I mean, honestly, I'm not someone who appeals to people's emotions either.
Yeah.
But it's like, they're like, yo, like some people
just
gather around.
Hours.
Hey, let's just meet up somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what? Just meet up somewhere. We'll just talk about it. We'll just, chill out, wear a flag. And it's like, what is this going to do for you, man? Is it going to get you money, bro? Like, bro, just shut up.
What's
like,
hanging out with your friends going to do for you?
This this fake, honestly, it comes from, like, I guess the hustle, like, what is it called? Like,
hustle culture.
Hustle culture?
Yeah.
Like, it's like a weird mixture of hustle culture with lazy people.
Yeah.
Hey, you could be doing something better, like smoking hookah with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, like, it's... I was very disappointed in, like, even, like, the dissenting voices in any movement are so necessary. I feel like that have taken pride myself in, like, hey, if you're serving no other purpose, at least you can point out what's not right. But
it's different when one thing is being constructive and saying, hey, okay, this may not be that effective. What can we do? Opening up that discourse. But instead, you go straight to, well, just don't worry about it. And that's easy for you to do. You cannot worry about it when you're living in suburbia, right? Very nicely manicured Disneyland, like you don't see anything going on. And the things you do, the atrocities you see on Twitter, on whatever, you can shut that off. If it's too graphic for you, you can just scroll. But the people who are on the ground and they're asking you, hey, speak out, raise your voice, they can't forget about it because they're in it. The least you could do is heed that call by taking 2 hours out of your month out, right? You work 40 hours a week and just add 3 hours onto that.
I mean, honestly, it is very, like, easy, especially for people who look like us. Because you can always wear that garb. Your skin color, it gives it away. you're always gonna have that garb of like, oh well, I'm from there. I'm not a privileged person. I'm darker than you. I'm like, I mean, yeah. So what if I live? I say that too. I live in a great neighborhood now. But anyone's like, hey, are you from here? I'm like, hey, man, I came from here, and here, and here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's okay, and that's great. But at some point, if your actions, your values do not reflect where you come from anymore, they're more about your interests now.
Yeah.
Then you are from here.
Yeah.
And we are in a very convenient situation where we can be from here and simultaneously, also claim that, hey, we're not. We're actually, we're just immigrants that we're just trying to make it and we're right like the people back home.
When it's favorable and cool to not be white.
Yeah. Yeah.
Indulge.
Yeah.
In that.
But also keep all the same values. I mean, you see here the most ultra white people and again, not to be racist, there's a lot of like good white people, I'm sure, somewhere. But
yeah.
yeah, but like, there's a lot of white people in this country right now. Like, they're all for that too. They're like, hey, everyone just do your own thing. If you don't make it, it's your own issue.
But that's the whole thing, is when you have diaspora people come here and become like that too.
Mm-hmm.
While maintaining a lot of their like tradition in terms of their language and whatnot. So they still have this thing of like, no, we're still like, we're not assimilated. We have our own thing. But in the mind, that liberal individualism and the nihilism that comes with that, it's going to seep in,
Yeah.
And then you'll make these kind of arguments.